believe we're back on board with the circuit here. Clara heads the race leaders. Oh, and there are all sorts of problems.
Oh, big carnage. Oh, straight to the barriers. And through the smoke we come. What a crack! Oh, a crack!
Welcome to Retro Motorsport F26 and a lot more local motorsport from the past. First up, it's 2009 in Teretonga and the NZ V8 Utes have come out to play.
It's been an exciting run, and the 2009 NZ V8 Utes season has seen the teams travel the country from top to bottom, stopping at each major circuit to put on a show. The reigning champion Matthew Lockwood has had a tough South Island trek because the other teams have caught up, and the likes of Kane, the Ginger Ninja Lob, Mac the Bomber Peach, and Simon Jr. Byrne have been chipping away. And now it's Invercargill's turn to host the Brutes. Teretonga will be the place where we find our new champion.
You know, it doesn't get any better than this. It's a winner-take-all final round. Qualifying and 4 races in one day. And to top it off, the 2 top drivers are within 1 point of each other. Now that congested points table means some very exciting racing. However, there's now a spanner in the works because a young chap who's been racing the Utes in Australia has come home for a while.
I went over to Australia in 2005 and ran a Ute with support from Ken Spins and Manfield at the time, and actually ended up picking up a full-time drive with the Kanga Loaders racing team over there, running a Ute, and that developed onto other things. So yeah, had a lot of fun racing over there in the Utes and raced on some pretty cool circuits.
Do you think there'd be a fair go between the drivers over here and the drivers from Australia?
Yeah, I think there probably would be. The drivers from Australia have come over to New Zealand in the past, and we had the run at Manfield, and the Kiwis definitely showed they could foot it with the Aussies, and hopefully we can have something like that happen again in the future. Ash unfortunately couldn't be here this weekend himself, so he's not driving. It's given me the chance to hop in and have a crack.
There's 1 point between first and second. Now you're in the mix all of a sudden. Are you going to cause problems out there and make them work for their win?
I probably will cause problems, no doubt. Not intentionally, but I think it will probably happen.
And happen it did, but it wasn't just the kid Chris Pither who got in on the mix, so too did the track timers. During qualifying, it wasn't a surprise to see Phantom, Junior and Ginger up there amongst it. Not even a surprise to see the kid putting in good times as well. What did cause a ruckus was the fact that Teretonga still uses a manual timing system, and it put a few noses out of joint when the in-car telemetry didn't match the track printouts. And being the all-important final round, it caused some steam clouds in the pits. However, no changes can be made, and no matter how many protests are put forward and tantrums are thrown, the times stand, and the show must go on.
Well, qualifying has been quite a shock. Not the fact that the Ginger Ninja is up front, but on the front row with him is Senior Byrne. There is no option for failure here. No carnage, no mistakes. Who am I kidding? This is the Utes. Let's go racing.
And starting on the front row, as said, was none other than our celebrity favourite Graham Senior Byrne, who has had an absolute shocker, as you can see here. Well, it looks like he's let Junior go by in front of him, and it could be a few more. There goes the kid Chris Pither, and here comes the Phantom Matthew Lockwood. Not a great start for the senior. Well, still out front, we've got the Ginger Ninja followed in by Junior, and already there is a gap being created from the 5th back into 6th spot, and then from 8 back into 9 as the group bunches up and heads off for the first few laps here at race 1. Junior McNugget trying to hold off the new boy, the kid. Well, we only call him new because he's only come back to New Zealand for the first time here. He's been in Australia for many years, and now he's doing a good job with the rest of the field. The Phantom, Matthew Lockwood, stuck in behind the kid, and he has no choice but to lose those valuable points as he looks way up the front and sees the Ginger Ninja just running away with the race. The junior still slotting himself into 2nd. No change for the kid in 3rd. Valuable points are being lost here. There's a big move up on the inside of Rocket Man Rob by the Pero, and surprisingly he keeps it on the tarmac. No dirt time at all for Mike at this stage. Huggy doing a good job staying in on the race and keeping the vehicle in one piece, not like the earlier round at Ruapuna. Watch him on the outside here of Rocket Man Rob, who got a little bit loose. That's the replay of Pero going up on the inside, and Spence trying to take a move as well on Huggy. Not much luck for him at all. And the field widens as race 1 continues to wind its way around Teretonga. The Phantom just in the ute, shaking his head, wondering what he has to do to catch up to Ginger Ninja. He did do a good job at getting past Chris Pither, but it's still not enough because Junior is now in his sights and in the way and clocking up those valuable points, as I've said again. So we're in car now with Junior, and he's got a big job to do because currently in the championship he is in 4th place with a lot of work to do to catch up to the Bomber. At the moment, as they come past the start-finish line, it's pretty clear the Ginger Ninja is on a mission.
The first time in the championship someone's taken the lead from Matt, so it's a bit of an achievement in itself. We just got to work on the weekend and sort of try finish races. Start from 13 in the next race, so it's going to be a bit challenging, but in that last race was awesome. Couldn't have gotten better. I was a bit gutted when I saw Matt get past Chris, but I mean, we just need a points gap, yeah.
And speaking of gaps, how about the one left by Senior? Then again, maybe it was team tactics. Let Junior fly by, duck on the inside to block the rest of the field. Ah, man, I love conspiracy.
I get on the start and I lit it up in my mad excitement, and they all went past me. And then the third or fourth lap, I hit 5th gear instead of 3rd gear at the end of the straight, so they got a break on me, so I thought it was a waste of time. So, hey, I'm in one piece. Junior got 2nd, he did a great time, and I'm coming back hard for the next race and the race after.
So have you ever done a hot lap around Teretonga? No? Well, here's your chance with Paddy.
Righto, City, here we are. We're coming on the straight. I'm in 4th. Just going over the start-finish line. We'll go to 5th now. Coming up the 100-metre board, and just after then we're on the brakes. Down to 4th, down to 3rd. Half throttle, just easing it on. We can keep this tight. She pushes a bit through here. Right, hard on the gas now. 4th momentarily, down to 3rd, heel toe. Hit the apex here. We've got to come right over to this apex in this corner. Down a 2nd for the brickyard. Down a 3rd, all the way to 2nd. Make sure we get it on the gas as early as we can out of here. There's a lap at Teretonga.
All right, it's time for race 2 here at Teretonga in the NZ V8 Utes. It's a marble draw for the grid, and wouldn't you know it, the kid has grabbed pole.
Well, that's unbelievable. 1C Pither on pole. Well done.
Yeah, Bob Grove will be happy to be beside him with the Spence slotting into the 2nd.
Just remember, he's on pole with a marble draw. I mean, let's be honest.
Yeah, exactly right. He didn't earn the spot, did he?
Well, not really, but he did get the right marble.
He did indeed. There's Senior. Look at him in the middle of the pack. He'll try and clock and cause damage.
The Macca's Ute there looking resplendent with the big yellow M. Hey, go Junior.
Way down the back, near the very end is the Huggy, and look who's with him. It is the Mark Cromie Holden of the Ginger Ninja.
The Ginger Ninja right from the back, just ahead. Can he win the championship? A lot of DNFs. He doesn't want one of those.
Well, this is race 2 at Teretonga, and there's only 2 more to go after this. They're all important, and there he goes. As expected from the front, Chris Pither, no one will touch him.
Oh, in the black Cairns bin Ford Ute, the big 90 on the side. Will he drive away, Lordo? Just call it early on.
Yeah, he's got it. You can see it now. Look at the gap already ahead of Bob Grove, and you can see that Pero and Lockwood are doing everything they can to try and get past Bob Grove. They want the points badly. It's not going to happen.
All I'm waiting for is the Ninja to glide his way through the pack and end up somewhere at the front, knocking on the back door of Pither.
Well, there's Pero. He's knocking on the door of Bob. Bob's made a mistake. He's on the dirt. Pero follows him. The Lockwood drops into second spot.
Oh, it's like Wacky Races. He's just splashing the dirt up at Pero. Pero not happy at all.
Well, it looks like they've gone to a crawl. Look at this. Look how slow it seems. But this is the corner at the end of the track where they come barreling down, and then there's a tight left-hander as they try to go in. Oh, and here's why they're going slow. I was thinking, well, they're trying to control themselves, not have a crash, go down to a snail pace. The track's broken.
Well, what happened to the track? All of a sudden, it's just taken time out. It's a sickie.
You can see it there. They're trying to. They were lifting bits of a ripple strip. So obviously the concrete has come off at Teretonga, and they've had to put a yellow flag out.
Listen, we've gone straight to the in-car of Graham Senior Byrne. I believe they're blaming him for any damage that's happened to the track. He'll have to cover the costs.
Well, he probably will, but if anyone's going to hit the broken concrete, it'll be Graham Senior Byrne.
Let the car do the talking, Senior. Let the car do the talking.
Now, talking's done. Looks like we've got the green flag waving again as they get underway. And obviously they've had to reorder themselves because it was one lap in. And we can see that Bob Grove is back up into second. So the officials have been on the radio and said, full restart, boys.
I'm still just confused how the track just broke and we hadn't even got to that section of it yet.
And that's where it was there. You saw Chris Pither touching it, so they either put some rapid set concrete into the ripple strip or ripped it out completely and just did a bit of spade work.
Rapid set concrete? Well, have you been working with the mob, Craig?
Well, yeah, there's some around the ankles there somewhere at Teretonga, I can guarantee that. As the Phantom tries once again to get around Bob Grove, and he's doing a pretty good job of putting pressure on him. I don't know how long Bob can hold out.
Oh, sly and dirty Bob Grove. Look, he is doing his very best, but the Phantom, he's left, he's right, he's ducking outside, he's coming inside. At this particular moment, he's staying behind though.
Well, he knows how important it is. He knows that the Ginger was starting at the back of the pack in this race. He knows that he was leading coming into Teretonga, but after the first race, he's now second. He has to do everything in his power to grab second, if not first. I can't see first coming, but at least second as he tries now to gain those points back on the Ginger Ninja.
In car with Paddy now, and of course we had the hot lap from Paddy's car. In car, fantastic.
Well, he's got a lot to prove now. If he doesn't succeed in this race, that's epic fail. It's pretty clear. It's pretty clear.
Or I was just going to say, just let him get through the inside of Spence, but he couldn't do that. Spence closed the gap. Paddy's just going to have to sit there and wait for the moment.
Well, we're racing for positions 4 and 5 because we know that the kid, Chris Pither, is way out in front. And wouldn't you know it, there's the Ginger Ninja carving up the field.
Well, I talk about points, but you know what happens when I talk about points? I just get it wrong. All I'm going to say is the Ninja needs to make up positions, and he will do that.
Well, let me make it real simple for you, Shogun. Ninja came into the round 1 point behind the Phantom. They've had one race, and now the Ninja is 7 points ahead of the Phantom. Hence the big deal for the Phantom needing to stay right up front and hoping that the Ginger stays behind, but he doesn't. He skims past the Pero.
Well, what a fantastic in-car shot. Thanks to Mike Pero allowing my boy, the Ginger Ninja, to sneak on up the inside. He loves this Teretonga track.
Well, he's in the Mark Cromie hold, and I know what you're bagging for, Mark Cromie. I'll give you Shogun's cell phone number later to order the new ute. The Phantom well behind Chris Pither. I called it at the start. No one's going to touch him. His experience in the Australian series, he's came here and he's racing now in one of the Kinsman's Fords. He's going to say ta-ta, goodbye field.
Well, he started from the front. There was no one to interfere with him, and Pither's got the speed. He can handle a ute. He'll drive away. What I'm interested in is how the Phantom has taken Bob Grove. The Phantom now will take second place points. The Ginger Ninja still sneaking up through the pack, and he's now on the hammer catching up to the Junior.
Yeah, well, see, first place gets you 39 points in any race in the NZ V8 Utes. Second place gets you 35. That 4-point difference, now it's going to get a little technical, but those 4 points that Pither is stealing from Matthew Lockwood is all important when it comes down to it because, hey, this is the final round and there's only 3 races left to decide it. That includes this one.
Whenever you talk about Aussies, you talk about stealing. Leave Pither alone. The good old Gold Coast boy, he's taken nothing.
That's right. Well, he's from Palmy, but that's too bad. He now lives in Gold Coast, so we're calling him an Aussie. We're calling him a coaster.
That's exactly what we're calling him. And you're calling him a thieving Aussie, and I don't think that's quite right.
I say no more and I'll rest my cases. We're in car with Graham Senior Byrne. We're just waiting for something to happen and nothing's happening. I mean,
hang on.
Is that Senior?
No, every lap the Ginger Ninja's making up more time and more pace. He's right on the back of this group. They're being held up at the moment, aren't they?
Yeah, Bob.
Hang on a second, here he goes. Right up the inside of Junior. They are mirror to mirror. And the Ninja comes away silently taking another position.
Well, what a move by the Ginger Ninja on the inside of Junior, who will be fuming because South Island, he's touted. He's a South Islander. He's from Christchurch. These are his circuits.
His circuits? Well, I'll tell you what, here comes Junior back up the outside of the Ginger Ninja, furious because last time out the Ginger Ninja put his arm in the window, took 2 Junior burgers and took the position.
Well, look at him go. Now talk about slipstreaming. Junior just going way down the outside. That had to be a fault from Ginger. Oh, he's holding his line and it's a big lock-up from Junior. No way past, and look at the distance he's lost now.
Well, the Ginger Ninja kept the cool, didn't he? There was a rush of ketchup sauce to the head of Junior. That's when he smoked her up, locked it up on the way in, as my boy the Ninja takes another position.
He's stolen it off Senior. Senior went and weaved. He tried to go down the inside. It didn't stick. It didn't hold. And look at him now. He's locking up the brakes because he knows he's in trouble. Here's the question. Does he let Junior through?
Well, I wouldn't be surprised if he does let Junior through, but at the end of the day, he's rammed him a couple of times this season, so anything could happen.
Oh, there he goes, taking 4th spot from Sly and Dirty Bob Grove. Paddy's out in front of him, the man who has a lot to prove after the hot lap.
I tell you what, this Ginger Ninja, Mr. Kane Lobb, is driving superbly. Another position coming up perhaps as he weaves in and out and around. What's he going to do? Sit there for the moment.
Well, you can hear the nice change down. See those cubes, the V8s, they sound good. And no V8 supercars, but they're close enough for us as they come out to the area where the concrete was lifted on the track earlier in the race. And there's no dust flying up, so obviously they fixed it. They did a good job. And now Sly and Dirty is the one holding up the rest of the field, which includes the 2 Burns.
Yeah, the 2 Burns, they absolutely hate being held up, except if it's by each other, which often happens.
Well, look, there's a little bit of carnage on the back of the McDonald's Ute, so obviously someone's given him a little bit of the tap-tap, and it's very likely it was Mac the Bomber Peach as they've tried to jostle for spots in the midfield. Yes, there we go. Once again, now he could be getting him under brakes, which could be happening. Remember, they are allowed the race brakes on these Utes, so...
Junior, a little sideways action out there, but look at Bomber's Ute. It's caved in. I mean, lucky we're at the end of the season because that thing just wouldn't pass warrant, would it?
No.
He wouldn't get it through.
No, he wouldn't get it through, but... You know, who cares? Just drive it on the road. Anyway, we're on the last lap now, and look at Ginger trying to go around the outside of Paddy. Is he going to make it stick, Shogun?
Oh,
look at
he
him go!
Can't get him around the outside. Not possible. But he hangs on and he hangs on. Can he get the momentum flowing, and can he get another position before the end of the race? Well, he's all over the show. He's all over the back of Paddy. He's touching Paddy. Is that legal?
I don't know if it's legal, but it's great to watch.
Oh, it's fantastic. The Ginger Ninja, he's just exciting the crowd and us too.
Well, here's the mathematics, people, as we wind our way down through the last lap. The Ginger Ninja, 7 points ahead of Phantom. You can see him up the front. He's going to come in 2nd spot. Chris Pither will take the checkered flag.
Matty Lockwood will take 2nd. Big result for Paddy taking 3rd. And a huge one for Kane Lobb from last to 4th.
And what that means, of course, is the Phantom has now grabbed back some very valuable points on the Ginger. So the marble draw has an effect on the grid. Yes, Bob Grove managed to grab a top 5 spot. Kane Lobb still clocking up points in 4th, with Craig Patterson grabbing a 3rd. Matthew Lockwood held off 1st position by the kid who, as expected, has been running in the mix and is going to cause a few problems with the championship table.
After the first race, I knew I needed to win that one, and I managed to get a couple of quick, clear laps early on there, which was enough to sort of stay out of all the trouble, I think, behind me, so it was good.
And what about Ginger? Well, he tried to mess with Paddy, and the 2 redheads went shoulder to shoulder on the big sweeper. Sorry, Ginger, this one's Paddy's.
Saw him coming, I thought, oh man, I got to do everything damn right here. He gave me a wee bit of a nudge, but that's not going to upset an old stock car driver like me, so yeah, no, it was good.
The Lob Man, second position on the grid, but leading the championship by 1 point.
That's right, and remember, this is a marble draw, reverse grid, so he's up the front. Means a Phantom would be way down the back.
Well, the Phantom's going to have to do what we call the Ginger Ninja and come right through the pack as we look at Pero sitting on the grid there, just ahead of the Phantom who we just mentioned.
Yes, of course, and he's got Paddy there in front of him as well, and we know Paddy knows his way around the circuit. Bob Grove and the kid, Chris Pither, will start from the back. All right, let's get into it. Race 3 at Teretonga. Only 2 to go. That includes this one, and it's Jocelyn. Look at Huggy!
Hang on a second. What's Huggy up to? We've not even made the end of the main straightaway, and he's got an airborne.
Oh, my Lord. Huggy, what are you trying to do? He's had a battle with Rocket Man. He's spinning him out.
Rocket Man, he goes with a snake tail left and right and back again.
And we're missing a ute. Where's Bob Grove?
Well, where is Bobby Grove? We've not even made the first corner. Grove's not there anymore.
And we've
had a
slow.
spin-off. And what? Well, this coming to a stop.
Something has happened.
We've got to have yellow.
Well, we've got Rocket Man Rob who went off at the end of the big sweeper. No big drama there, but we have lost Bob Grove, and I've got a bad feeling in my water that this could be the reason for a yellow flag. We try and look at it's certainly not Rocket Man. He's not the problem.
No, that was never a yellow flag incident. Rocket Man Rob, he was just sitting there.
There it is.
Grove, he's in there with the tyres near the tyre wall. What's happened?
Oh.
Can we get to a replay, Craig? Because, well, here we go. We're in car with Simon Jr. Byrne. Here's this little incident we saw from the front where we get a little bit of airborne there from Huggy.
Okay, so he's gone up the inside now, so still nothing. We're trying... Oh, Huggy's trying to go off-roading and get some airtime, but still nothing. Let's try and watch up the back. Well, maybe we can see it from here. No, this is the in-car watching Rocket Man Rob.
Oh, well, the Phantom's just about jammed everyone up the backside so far.
I would say that the Bob Grove accident has caught everyone by surprise, including the cameraman. Well, he's ended up in the tyres, and that's that. We're watching a replay again of Huggy getting caught up with the Rocket Man. You know he flies choppers for a living. He's going doing the roundabout.
Well, I'll tell you what, he was doing exactly... Oh, well, have a look. Forget about Rocket Man. Let's talk about Bob Grove's ute. It's dirty, it's filthy, it's banged up, it's going nowhere.
It's going nowhere. Well, we're under a restart again, just like race 2 and just like we have had in earlier rounds in the 2009 series. We've had to start under the yellow flag after a first corner incident. We didn't get to see Bob smash, but we saw the remnants of it on the truck.
Well, he's only got the memories that he'll have to pass on to us, and that'll just have to do us, Craig.
Well, we're looking at the leap now from the Ginger Ninja. He's had exactly the same scenario that Chris Pither had in race 2. Start up front, get out in front, and no one's going to touch you.
All right, so the way we're looking at this race, race 3 of the weekend, he leads by a single solitary point, but he's going to accumulate, and Matty Lockwood's got to get all the way from the back to do a Ginger Ninja.
Yes, he does, and there we're watching Matthew Lockwood now. He's come up, look at him, he's made some huge inroads. He's gone from last up into the middle of the pack, and he is virtually behind these two, fighting it out for third position in the championship.
All right, well, they're not going to give up. We've seen how Simon Jr. Byrne can drive. He will go all out, and look at the ute in front of him. It's absolutely smashed to a pole.
Bomber does a good braking manoeuvre in front of Rocket Man Robbie. Ducks on it.
Rocket Man Robbie jams in on the Macca's Ford. He says, not today, and Simon Jr. will be furious.
That would have been some serious brake stuff going on there as he watched the Rocket Man duck in. Oh, Junior's got him this time. He's gone on the inside of the sweepers. What a great drive there by the Junior. You only get one shot, Rocket Man, and you've had it.
Well, have a look at Matty Lockwood. He's getting the business done as well. You know, the Macca's ute may be competing for third. Lockwood's competing for the championship. He started at the back, and Pither's right on his tail. He's making his way through the pack as well. Every point will count. We've got another race this weekend after this one, and that'll be it.
Well, we're watching the front 3 go through nice and easy. Phantom goes around on the outside. Hang on a second.
Oh, Phantom!
No!
What have you done? He's blown up. He's had a brain explosion. Taken the corner too wide. The back of it's got out there on the grass. He's lost the back of it. He's spun.
No, we're looking at Senior Byrne. Are we seeing a Senior moment? Come here, Senior's gone wide.
Oh, no, Senior's got him.
They've touched.
I thought he got off track, but it's not.
Is the season over?
Oh, it's the curse of the pension come to haunt the Phantom.
Well,
this is incredible.
Has he taken him out of the season running? We're watching it again. Matthew Lockwood in car goes down around the outside to try and steal fourth spot. He's wide on the ripple strip. Oh, he's come across, and that's affected Senior. So he's tried to stay out of the grass. I'm saying his season is over. Even with one race to go, Shogun, his season is over.
I don't even know what to say about that. Was it Senior? And if it wasn't, I take back the pinch in a moment. But I tell you what, that's had a massive effect on this weekend and indeed the championship.
Well, Junior, oh boy, he's now fighting, and he's fighting for third spot with the Bomber up there. The Ginger Ninja way out in front. He probably doesn't even know what's happened unless his crew have been on the airwaves saying, hey, have you noticed there's no Phantom behind you?
Well, the Phantom's already made his way from the back of the pack as we see another in-car manoeuvre. Mike Perro's in reverse.
What's wrong with Perro?
What's he up to? Fine third, Perro, fine third.
He's gone into second. Just checking it out. No, here we go. More rubbing. Chris Pither going up on Rocket Man. Has Rocket Man got rubber panels on his ute? Because everybody's just aiming for him.
In car with Senior. Oh, Pither?
That can't be in the rules. That can't be in the rules.
He's riding the grass like a cow. What's he up to?
Well, surely the officials didn't see it, but I'm sure you can't have 2 on and 2 off.
Not for that long anyway. Back to Junior. He's now right into it. And from in-car, we're having a look at Mac the Bomber Peach's ute. He's sort of been right there pretty much the whole race, hasn't he, Junior? Not made too many inroads, not lost too much ground.
Well, at the moment, the Bomber is holding safely and securely the third position trophy for the season. And it's up to Junior to wrestle it from him. And that's what this little battle is here. A race within the race, they say.
Well, the Bomber's just got to keep it on track and keep it sensible. Talk about sensible. Here's Mr. Up the Inside, Chris Pither.
Well, it's the two Ken's Bins Fords back to back here. Paddy in the blue one, Pither in the black one. They're having a jostle. Here comes Junior. Oh, he's trying to take on the Bomber big time.
I thought he was going to give him a little love tap there just to remind the Bomber. Oh, there it is. There's the love tap. A little bit more than a love tap. The Bomber has pulled out an absolute blinder to keep that one on track. Oh my goodness, Junior.
That is some great racing and car control from the Bomber. He's been given the tap all over from Junior. Talk about McNuggeting.
Oh my goodness. With extra sweet and sour sauce right up the clanger. In car with Mike Perro. I just still can't get over the tap. It's brilliant stuff.
Well, the tap, the one that I'm still trying to get over is the Phantom earlier as he came together with Senior. He's back down in the field and he's probably trying to do it all again to get through the pack. He's not going to do it. And I will say it again. I am sure his season is over.
Well, regardless of what happens, if there's an investigation, too late. He's not going to get the points from the front of the pack now. Suck it up, Phantom, and try and make up a few as you go.
Exactly right, and we're watching Perro, and there he is, right in behind Perro. Good timing for the Phantom. So that's sort of middle order of the field at the moment. Remember, we don't have any Huggy, we don't have any Spence after they're coming together. They're back in the pits at the moment. They're not going to come out. Maybe they will for the fourth race, but at the moment, they're not getting in the way.
All right, that's all we ask. Don't get in the way. Oh, Perro getting it sideways. Doing a little drifting into the right-hander. Perro, look at him cross her up here.
He's had a little tap from Rocket Man. He's had a second tap.
Oh, this is terrific. I mean, look, the Ninja's got it wrapped up surely now unless he goes off track. There's Perro from the back. This is what we came to see. The action at Teretonga. It's thick and it's fast.
Welcome back to Teretonga. This is race 3 of the NZ V8 Utes. At the moment, the Ginger Ninja is carving his way into the history books as he leads the race by 1 point over the series total and current series champion, the Phantom, who's had all sorts of drama spinning it out earlier in the race. And now we're just watching the battle unfold for third position between the Bomber and Junior.
Yeah, in car with Junior at the moment, and it was Junior's father that had it coming together with Lockwood that sent Lockwood from, well, almost to the front of the pack after starting at the back, back to the back.
Yeah, exactly right. And here he is trying to gain some valuable points. He's got past Perro. He won't get past the Rocket Man unless Rob makes another mistake, and he's having a few problems at the end of the straight. It's probably just the combination of getting the brake line wrong, getting the drive line wrong, and the other guy's getting up the inside. So let's try and take an example now. Rocket Man, we're watching him deep on the right-hand side of the screen. He's going in heavy, not too much brakes. And the Phantom Shogun, he's going to try and go around the outside. outside and not. Surely not.
He loves it round the outside. He holds the Phantom. And
No
what
one
about
does
the
this.
in-car from Pero? We see the Phantom get around him. Not quite. But by the next turn, he smokes down the inside, which is a little right-hander. And you said it couldn't be done.
No one goes around the outside of Teretonga. Well, they weren't watching the Phantom.
It was done big time.
There are those,
Matthew Lockwood. Amazing.
Those valuable points that he's trying to get, he's getting them back, and this is a sensational comeback from the Phantom after having a little tap-tap with this man here, Graham, the senior burn.
I'm just not going to mention that again because I still in my mind can't imagine. Oh my goodness.
Pero!
Firstly, there's smoke everywhere. You couldn't see who was who. Pero decided to sniff a bit of the smoke, got a head spin, locked it up himself, then he picks up a position somehow.
That is what happens. We're watching the replay now. Heavy under brakes from Rocketman Rob, and that's the problem. This is what happens when you get a mortgage from someone else.
Yeah.
It's pretty simple, isn't it?
Exactly. Exactly. He gets furious and he takes you down the inside.
V for Vendetta as we watch the last lap, and here we go. The third points, the third place in the series at the moment is still up for grabs between these two. We know what's happening up front. It's the Ginger Ninja, but the battle now, it is the Bomber and Junior.
Well, Junior's been right on the tail of the Bomber all race, left, right, uppercut, cross, but he can't get there and he can't get the knockout blow. There's the man who's done it all today. Driven from the back for points and then driven from the front for points.
The two Ken's Bins Fords going head-to-head as well. Chris Pither trying to get around our hot lap man, Paddy Patterson. Can he do it? He's going to try and slipstream on the outside. It's not going to work. Checkered flag, the Ginger Ninja.
Second place is going to be wrapped up by Mac the Bomber Peach. Then it's Simon Junior Byrne. The big question, Matthew Lockwood, who needed big points, finished somewhere in the middle of the pack. Is it enough?
So the points keep clocking up for the Ginger Ninja Kane Lobb as he takes out race number 3 after all the drama. Mac the Bomber Peach grabs second with Junior slotting into third. This is not exactly the way you wanted to finish your season. Can you try and tell us what happened in race 3 there?
I just got spun around. Pretty much went down on the outside of Rocketman and Graham, past Graham, went side by side with Rocketman around the hairpin. He got in front of me, so I slipped behind, and then Graham decided to spin me.
Unfortunate to Matt. I mean, I'd hate to be in his shoes right now, but that's just racing.
And drama once more for Bob Grove. How can one not feel for Sly and Dirty? He's had nothing but heartache this season and headache for the crew.
We got a tap, and unfortunately the tap sort of shot me infield, and there was a large mound of tyres, and I looked at them and thought, Sly, you're in trouble. And there was really not much I could do. I was just there for the ride.
Bit of a rough start there, really. We were up the inside there, and Bob had a flyer. He was just up on my right front there. We made a bit of contact there, and then she was all hell broke loose from there. Not too sure what happened. I hope Bob's all okay there. We picked up a hole in the radiator and some bent steering on the front there, so looks like the boys are working hard there, so hopefully we'll get back for the last one.
Well, let's hope they all get back for race 4. The final and decider for the season is on the way.
Okay, it's time for the last race of the 2009 season for the NZ V8 Utes. Here at Teretonga, it will be the final showdown. The drama that unfolded with race 3, will we see it happen to Kane Lobb in race 4? The only way to know is to go racing.
So let's go racing. We've got accumulated points, Pither and the Ginger Ninja front of the grid. But look at the top 4, fantastic.
It's going to be a great race. Yes, it is. The Bomber has to sit himself in the 3rd row, and he is fighting with Junior for that 3rd spot of the season.
Now, we should mention Phantom picked up a place from the last race. It was Senior that was penalised for the tap, so the Phantom got to 6th, and now the Ninja is 13 points up in this championship with this final race.
Yeah, and we look at the back of the grid, the two that never made race 3, Spence and Huggy. We get underway. The final race, Shogun. It's race 4, and it's coming down to this. The Ginger must finish only 7th or better. That's all he needs.
Well, I was just thinking, Huggy's camera forgot its contact lenses. He couldn't see anything.
Yeah, no, that's his normal driving style.
That's what's going on.
Yes, it
Cataracts.
explains. Yes.
I was wondering. Right, the top of the order board. Pither, Lobb, Lockwood and Byrne. These guys competing for points, competing for everything. The Ginger Ninja basically has got to crash out for the Phantom to come through and take this series.
Yeah, that is the simple term. He's got to crash out because it would take a crash out to get 8th or lower. And that's really what has to happen. At the moment, the Phantom, he can't do anything silly. If he taps Ninja to knock him off the track, his season is over as well. If Ginger falls out, and he hated last year at Teretonga because he caught on fire, we shouldn't mention that, it may happen again. But yeah, you're right. He needs the Ginger to fall off.
It's too late, you've mentioned it. I bet he goes up in flames.
Oh, I'm going to be in so much trouble.
Look at the dodging and the weaving. He wants to get past the Ginger Ninja. Kane Lobb's been driving superbly this season. He could have won last season, but for the DNFs, he had a good car then. I think he's got a better one this year, but he's driving great guns.
He is indeed. And as you've said, 13 points is now the difference between those two cars in second and third. And there you go again. Yeah, it has explained. The whole season is now explained during this last race.
Well, he's got a new nickname for next year, James Cataract Urquhart. He's going with it. We're going with it.
Poor old James. Let's see if he does anything. So he can see the orange ute of Bob, and that's a great job by the crew to get Bob's ute back into a race.
I tell you what.
How much race tape is on that?
I actually think it's a ploy by Huggy's team to sit behind Bob Grove because the orange is the only thing he can see. He's just following the road cone round.
He's the guiding light, is our Bob Grove. The guiding light, as we look at guiding lights, Chris Pither out in front, out of the running. He's not even involved with the championship. The Ginger Ninja, who is sitting in second position, doesn't even have to pass him. He's just got to stay there. He can let the Phantom go by if he wants. And maybe that's a smart move. Let him go past, then he can't be knocked off.
No. Who are you talking to? Look, the Ginger Ninja Kane Lobb will not want to give up positions. He won't even want to just sit behind Chris Pither. The thing is, Pither is driving so fast that I don't think it matters if the Ginger Ninja wants past. I don't think he'd get past.
All right, well, we've got a difference of opinion as we watch the Cataract. Look at him go. He's going to try and he's going to lose his guiding light. He can't see the track. Watch him go straight off, Shogun.
I bet he smokes it up. He locks it up. He'll brake late because he doesn't know where to go. He needs a cane out the front of the car.
Oh, the poor Huggy, or Cataracts. Yes, he does have some problems. So the field is a procession at the moment. There's no crazy racing going on because Bomber, as you can see there, currently holds third place in the championship. He doesn't have to do anything stupid. I thought it would come down to the last race of the season to decide first, second, third. It kind of has, but unfortunately, that coming together between Senior and Phantom in the previous race sort of blowing it away a little bit.
Yeah, I think if that didn't take place, we would have a real crackerjack finish on our hands. At the moment, it's one of those situations. Kane Lobb's got it, but he'd be thinking in his mind, is something going to go wrong? Just stay away from me. Don't tap me from behind. He just needs some clear air.
Well, maybe he should have given Chris Pither a clear check to say, can you let me by? Go in second, block like crazy. Am I creating too much conspiracy here?
No, I don't think he needs to do that. I mean, you know, he's a very, very honest guy. He wouldn't have any part of that unless the check was big enough.
Yeah, fair enough. Good call. He does live in the Gold Coast after all. Right, so the field, still at the moment, it is Chris Pither out in front, ahead of the Ginger Ninja, who currently now leads the series by 13 points, ahead of the Phantom. And we watch a nice little move on the inside of Shrek. Now, there's a man we haven't seen much of this weekend. Last round, we saw plenty of him as he got the tap-tap from all sorts of people. That's the first time we've seen him at Teretonga.
Well, he's taking it very gently. Very gently. He just wants to finish in the middle of the pack this week. Enough stress from the last round. He just doesn't need it anymore.
Yeah, it was pretty messy for him. He got carved up by Junior in one of the races when he was dead set, going for a podium, if not a finishing podium. And then he was taken in half by Huggy, who swept across the front of his ute and carved the front of the chassis off. They repaired it to get him back out in the race. And as you say, he doesn't need any more stress. Let's just circulate.
What about this Pither? He shows up for the Teretonga weekend. Given half a chance, he's untouchable.
Well, the way it works is that Dangerous Dane Running was given the machine at Ruapuna. He blew the engine up. So then they tried to have it repaired in time for Timaru for Chris Pither to take over. The parts went missing from the engine, so they couldn't fix it. Now he gets it, and look what he does. You're exactly right, untouchable.
Well, Maybe we needed him first or second round to just mix things up a little bit. Either way, the championship, it's in the hands of Kane Lobb. Matthew Lockwood is right on his hammer in third position, but second in the championship, and right behind them, Simon Junior Byrne at this stage, final race at Teretonga. Nobody wants to do anything stupid. It's almost a procession because they're all too scared to be the guy that ruins it for someone else.
Exactly right. You see, here's the thing. It's not an anti-climax as such, it's more a fear factor. You know, you do not want to make a mistake. And look at Ginger, he's right there. Now, is he going a little bit hard and crazy, or is his crew in his ear, Mark Cromie, the team principal, saying, Ginger, do not get this wrong?
Well, it's Ford versus Holden, and I'm sure the Holden wants to come home first. However, even if he comes home second, he comes home first with a bigger prize.
Well, the sun is still shining at Teretonga, and we watch the Utes circulating, not trying to get in any trouble at all. Rocketman Rob is ahead of Spence and Kernahan. Those guys have had their own battles in each individual race all season, and we focus at the moment on Paddy, who is doing a good job to hold off Bomber. Bomber doesn't have to do anything, just stay there, and third place for the season is his.
The final lap, this is the glory lap. The Ginger Ninja's circulating behind Pither. Pither will take the race, but the Ninja's thinking to himself, you showed up too late, Chris. I've already got the championship. And on the back of what happened in race 3 here, he's been able to coast it home, cruise it home, start to go second from on the grid, second at the end of the race. There's your champion. Here's the checkered flag. You call this one.
Oh, this is a very exciting moment as Ginger Ninja comes through and takes the season for 2009. How was that?
Fantastic. I love you, Ginge. And Graham Senior Byrne, I'll miss you until next season. I'm telling you that.
So it's fairly obvious that Kane Ginger Ninja Lobb was not going to do anything stupid to try and get past Chris Pither, who takes the first place in race 4. Matthew Lockwood in third, smiles for the Ninja.
This season's been awesome. From last season to this season, it's just light years apart. I mean, thanks to the team, Mark, Cromie, Holden, my mechanic Nigel. Without them, it wouldn't have been possible. In the last part of the season, we've just found some form, and it's just been perfect. I mean, it sort of came down in the last race, really, and it was really, really interesting race.
But not so many smiles for the man who just lost his crown.
Kane's just improved his driving a lot in the last few rounds and done really well. So congratulations to him. But yeah, it was pretty close in the end, and yeah, we're still happy with second and the oldest ute on the field.
And our demon moment of the round. No, not the Phantom getting spun out, but Peter, Rocketman Rob, trying to prove that he can make his ute go round and round, just like his choppers. Did I see Huggy involved there? Well, it's a big congratulations to Mac Bomber Peach, third for the season. Matthew, the Phantom Lockwood, try as he may, couldn't hold on to the first place that he etched out from the North Island rounds and had to settle for second. But the big effort put in by the Mark Cromie crew ensured a 1-2-3 finish for the Holden camp and the big trophy for the Ginger Ninja.
Well, the NZ V8 Utes came to Teretonga with chances of 2 different champions, Kane, the Ginger Ninja Lobb, or Matthew, the Phantom Lockwood. Unfortunately for Matthew, he was done and dusted midway through race 3. So that handed the spoils to Kane Lobb. The clowns, the circus, are packing up and heading off and getting ready for the 2009-2010 season. And no doubt be some great racing action. Remember, motorsport is racing. Everything else is just a game. We'll see you next year.
Next up in Retro Motorsport, let's stick with V8s. This time though, there's 2 of them in each boat. It's the 2011 New Zealand Offshore Powerboats from Taupo.
The 2010 Rayglass New Zealand Offshore Championship started on Lake Taupo, and Doosan and Fairview went at it for the race victory. Fairview striking problems with power steering problems, and on debut, Doosan taking victory. At Gisborne for round number 2, Team 3 had 2 narrow escapes early on in the race, eventually giving the eventual win to Fairview Windows and Doors to get their championship campaign back on track. At Maraetai for round number 3, again it was Doosan coming to the fore for their second win for 2010 ahead of Fairview and Team 3. While at round 4 in Napier, it was Team 3 providing the fireworks with some controversy in the opening lap, having missed a buoy that had drifted out to shore. That would give them the eventual victory. Then on to Wellington for round number 5, and this ended Fairview's championship campaign. This big rollover really putting a dent in their points chains. Unbelievably, they would continue on, but Doosan would take their 3rd win in the championship. On to round 6 at the always spectacular Whitianga. Fairview bounced back with a dominant victory ahead of Doosan, and then it was on to Whangarei for round number 7. No Fairview for the weekend. Doosan struck problems. Team 3 taking their first victory of the championship. On to the final round at Auckland. Fairview again dominant. All Doosan had to do was finish ahead of Team 3 to tie up their first New Zealand title in Superboat and the New Zealand Offshore Powerboat Championships. In the Superboat Light, again starting on Lake Taupo, it was Red Steel on debut taking the victory. New Zealand Blokes would take the win in round number 2 at Gisborne, with Rayglass getting upside down, prematurely shortening the race. New Zealand Blokes.co.nz won their 2nd consecutive run. Rayglass returned with their 2nd boat and on to round number 4 at Napier. In heavy conditions again, it was NZ Blokes.co.nz. They did it again in Wellington for round number 5, putting them steadily in the points chase. Rayglass would go on to win round number 6 at Whitianga, and New Zealand Blokes tying up the championship with victory at Marsden Cove and Auckland for the final. For the 60-mile classification, it came down to Mark Diggleman. Thunderbird won, Greg Crawford in Open Windows and Doors, and Espresso Engineers, Mike Gervick and Dave Vasey taking out the overall victory in their first in the unique Occy Manafelt bat boat. For the Formula Honda Championship was Mike Knight and Yale Cook taking out the championship in Honda Marine. So it's on to the first round of the 2011 Rayglass New Zealand Offshore Powerboat Championship from Lake Taupo. There's familiar colours and some new colours and combinations for the new season, with 9 national titles to be decided over the next 8 rounds all over New Zealand's North Island. The headlining Superboat and Superboat Light classes will be as competitive as ever, as will the 60-mile championship and Formula Honda. So it's on to the course. On the Great Lake, 12 laps for the 100 mile, 7 laps for the 60 mile. Most of the race right off the Taupo waterfront for great viewing for the first round of the championship. So we're on board with Doosan, the reigning NZ1, building up to the race start. Also on board with Fairview Windows and Doors, Warren Lewis joined by Chris Hanley for the championship.
Green.
On board with Schick Hydro, that's Murray Tuffin.
It's going to be a hairy ride, mate. I've just got it trimmed right out to get the revs up.
Yeah, mate.
New colours for the 32-foot skater this season.
We're going to get hosed.
Go to your right a bit. Go to your right.
Okay. Going to the outside. Outside.
So on board with Fairview, it looks like Doosan's got the race start. Schick Hydro out to their right. New Zealand Blokes with a fantastic start. On board here with Mike Knight. In Auckland District Collections 1, now running in the Sports 60 restricted class with the Mercury 200 on the back of the 19-foot Sonic, as Doosan blasting away out to the early race lead. New Zealand Blokes were right there with them running in Superboat Light, the reigning NZ1s in the Superboat Light category. Relatively flat conditions. Not so much for the boats further back, and problems here for Auckland District Collections 1. They've stopped on the run down to the waterfront. You can see the rest of the smaller boats going by them, so problems early for Mike Knight. He's down to the bottom mark, first lap in front of the big crowd. It's Doosan. Fairview to the outside of New Zealand Blokes.co.nz. Bob Smith and Flea Cullen with a fantastic start. And to their inside, it is Schick Hydro getting that early run, slotting into the 2nd position.
Crossing over.
No, stay on there. Stay on the inside, mate.
can hear the chatter there between Murray Tuffin and Scott Lewis. So Doosan lead, defending their race win from a year ago. The reigning NZ1s, there's Fairview. Warren Lewis and Chris Hanley paired up for the first time. Chris Hanley won the championship with Tony Coleman and Kua Kids 2 seasons ago. There's the first of our 60-mile boats, a new combination here, the Powells and Back to Basics out of the Formula Honda class into the ex-Diggleman Super 60. And Connick Minolta, Greg Brink out of the Super 60 class into the Big Classics. This is a former Sleepyhead New Zealand Championship winning Offshore, owned by Ross Christensen, powered by a pair of 300 Verado Mercuries. There's the Formula Hondas chasing. Mike Urquhart with the lead from Mike Smith and Ray Glass, Total Oil. CRD Automotive, the fifth of the boats will be the Gambler, Kelly and Grant Smith, stepping down from the Superboat Light class. And Mike Knight is back up and running, so whatever their problem is, they are back up and running, but they're right back at the tail of the field on the opening lap of the first round of the 2011 New Zealand Offshore Powerboat Championship, brought to you by Ray Glass. This is Barracuda Kayaks. Drag racing with Red Steel. So that's the battle for second and third in class. Gordon Robinson and Andrew Macbeth in Barracuda Kayaks, still with the Doosan signage on board. Stepping up from their little 28-footer cat that featured in the championship last season. Brooke Fortner and Tony Carson in Red Steel. New colours for them this year in the ex-Placemakers Superboat. Back on board with the race leaders, heading out towards the top of the course. Being chased by Chic Hydro.
You're probably too far now, mate.
You happy here?
Yeah, happy here. Probably just a bit to your left, a bit more.
Yeah. I think I've got it.
And you've got to say, pretty much ideal conditions for Chic Hydro. This boat capable of 130 miles an hour in race conditions. You'll see Doosan, Chic and Fairview running at 120 mile an hour. Absolutely flat to the firewall. Now, a boat we haven't seen is Pro Floors. And it looks like they've had some problems off the start and are limping around the course. As we watch Chic Hydro, you just see that chop as they change direction back onto the waterfront. Doosan continue to lead. They've got about a 10-second advantage over Chic Hydro. So a good start for Murray Tuffin and Scott Lewis. Go back to third. It's still Fairview windows and doors. Chris Hanley on the wheel. Warren Lewis on the throttles. And this season for them is about unfinished business. We know this boat's got pace. So you can see with the GPS data logging where they are on the race course. Doosan and Chic Hydro just up ahead of them. So fourth on the water, leading Superboat Light, it's Bob Smith and Andrew Fleet-Coolin, reigning NZ1 in Superboat Lights. So the spectators out there on the water enjoying this first round of the championship. There's the second place Red Steel. And not too far behind them, Barracuda Kayaks just taking that wider line down onto the Taupo waterfront. And problems there for Topaz, one of the classic boats. Lots of smoke billowing out from the back of that boat, and they'll have one of the patrol boats attending to them very, very shortly. As Auckland District Collections 1 work their way back through the field, going by Total Oil, as New Zealand blokes blast by them. You can see the speed difference, the difference between 110 miles an hour and about 60, 65 mile an hour from these smaller category boats. And this is the Sport 60 restricted class battle. So Mike Knight back up with Jono Hanley in Marine Works, and a problem there for Mike Knight. He just caught an awkward wave. So Jono Hanley getting out to the front in Sport 60 restricted. Here's the onboard replay. Just concentrating on Jono Hanley out to the left, and the boat just got up and out of the water. So a moment there for Mike Knight and Nigel Smethurst in Auckland District Collections 1. Jono Hanley, of course, the reigning NZ1 in the Sport 60 restricted class, running the Marine Works Mercury. And they're in a class battle with Auckland District Collections 1. Early laps of round 1 of the 2011 Ray Glass New Zealand Offshores from Lake Taupo. Welcome back to Lake Taupo. The action continues in Formula Honda. It is Mike Urquhart and James Downs leading the way in Auckland District Collections 2. Should be a very competitive Formula Honda Championship with some very, very fast boats. Shannon Thickpenny and James Taylor running second at the moment in Total Oils. They were one of the series front runners last year. You can just see them dumping ballast, getting that water back off the boat to help trim the boat out. Former national champions Mike Smith, he's paired with Bobby Lloyd this year. You can see Ricky Bobby as the co-driver sticker on the side of that boat. Ray Glass Racing. They will certainly figure in the championship. One of the most consistent runners in Formula Hondas over the last few years have been the Duns in CRD Automotive, currently running 4th overall. Father and son team. And then we go back to a father and daughter team. Kelly and Grant Smith, we're used to seeing these two in a much bigger boat, the Ray Glass Superboat Light, but keeping their eye in with the Gambler in the Formula Honda class, a class where Kelly Smith started her racing. Again, remembering she has, of course, won 3 New Zealand titles in Superboat Light. And there is the Superboat Light category leader, Bob Smith and Flea Coolan. 300 Mercuries powering this skater. Probably looking at about 110, 111 miles an hour there at the moment. And they're not too far ahead of Red Steel, Brooke Faulkner and Tony Carson. Beautifully presented boat. They're still holding off Barracuda Kayaks, Gordon Robinson and Andrew Macbeth. They will be 6th overall on the water. So we go back on board with Doosan, the race leaders, just controlling the pace out in front.
Watch it. Yep. On straight.
Now just to the left of Chick Hydro on their onboard, you can see Pro Floors there. So Pro Floors limping around the course.
Pro Floors, there, mate. Yep. I got the channel marker.
Fairview are going to go to their outside onto the Taupo waterfront. So it's still Doosan, Chick Hydro, Fairview, 60 mile. It's still back to basics. Glenn and Chris Powell leading 60 mile. There's our second place boat, Konica Minolta, driven by Ross Christensen on board, also Greg Brink and Dave King. They've had a busy weekend taking Konica Minolta corporate guests out for rides before the race start. So they're in second ahead of this boat, the reigning NZ1 in Super 60 and the 60 mile category. Mike Gerbic and Dave Vasey in the Espresso Engineers bat boat. Probably a little bit rougher than they would have liked, and they continue to hold off Gulf Force 10, the boat formerly known as Thunderbird 1, Huckle Lasur and Gavin McGrath in the Classic class, so they'll be second in Classic behind Konica Minolta. In behind them we've got Thin Ice running in the Sports 60 category. That is Graham Pike and Brett Archer, and then Go Otaki Go, Timmy Fellows and Mark Coburn out of the Wellington area. So that's your top 6 and 60 mile. As the action continues up in front, and Fairview have made some ground up on Chick Hydro. On board with Warren Lewis and Chris Hanley. And look at the speed. Nearly 120 mile an hour, right side by side. Heading out towards the top end of the course. And this could be a position change for second overall, with Doosan still out in front on board with Chick.
Watch where we don't get washed down.
Trying to go outside?
No, should no. Stay on the inside.
We've got no room, all these
Yeah,
boats.
no, go over. Don't get washed down. Go over.
Lots going on in the cockpit. Murray Tuffin on the right-hand side of the boat. Scott is on the left-hand side in another cockpit running the throttles.
Watch it. Just go past. If you have to cross over, cross over.
Very, very hard work driving these big boats, remembering they weigh between 3 and 3.5 tonne. So there's Doosan looking for victory for the second consecutive year. They won on debut, their first ever start in Superboat here at Lake Taupo a year ago. They've got NZ1 on the boat, Sam Fillmore and Carrie Gleeson. There's the gap back to Fairview. So they've got around Chick Hydro, Fairview. Chris Hanley and Warren Lewis just getting used to each other inside that race boat. Their first race together in race conditions. As they start to work their way through some of the smaller traffic. Chick Hydro now in third.
Okay, right off. Give me a little bit. Just a little bit, not too much.
You can hear the teamwork there between Chris Hanley, who's got lots of experience, former New Zealand champ a couple of seasons ago, alongside Tony Coleman in Kua Kids, a similar boat to this Fairview skater. Two of the newest boats in the New Zealand Offshore Powerboat Championships, as the helicopter picks up Fairview on the waterfront run. Hanley's raced in the US with 3,500 horsepower, unlimited offshore powerboats, capable of speeds of up over 180 miles an hour. So back through the pack, Auckland District Collections won, and they've got further problems there as Nigel Smetters looks to be trying to reconnect Mike Knight's onboard communication. So it hasn't been an easy run for this duo. They are back in front of the Sports 60 restricted category. Mike Knight, the reigning Formula Honda champ, he won the title in Honda Marine last year alongside Yale Cook, has stepped up the class to the 200 horsepower Mercury-powered Sonic and Sports 60 restricted. He'll be 7th overall. There is our 60-mile leaders. It is still the pals in back to basics, having a pretty much flawless run here on Lake Taupo. Still being chased by the big classic, Konica Minolta. Running the big supercharged Verados, incredibly quiet powerheads on this race boat. Again, remembering they are limited to 80 mile an hour in the classic class. There's our race leader, Doosan, but Fairview is starting to make some inroads into the race leader's lead. You can just see Carrie Gleeson and Sam Fillmore there in the cockpit. Fantastic camera shots from the camera platform, but Fairview are on the hunt. They are closing the leader down. Speeds approaching 200 kilometres an hour or 120 mile an hour. Mike Urquhart and James Downs continuing to lead the Formula Honda class from Shannon Thickpenny and James Taylor in Total Oils. So lots of battles within battles, and here is the race lead. Fairview have closed the race lead by about 12 seconds over the last 2 to 3 laps, and they're pulling up alongside the reigning NZ1. It's a drag race through to the centre of the course, and look how close these two big superboats are together. At 120 miles per hour, Fairview are going to sneak ahead. The next mark to come up is the left-hander to take them down back towards the Taupo waterfront. Doosan going through the rooster tail, trying to get a better line to that left-hander. As the 60-mile race is complete, back to basics on debut, take out the 60-mile category here on Lake Taupo at round number 1 of the championship. Konica Minolta will cross the line in second and take out the classic class, also on debut with these new colours. Reigning Super 60 champs, Espresso Engineers, will be 3rd overall. Thin Ice will take out Sports 60 ahead of Go Otaki Go for the 60 mile. And Sports 60 restricted, the win will go to Mike Knight after a troubled race. He stopped on the opening lap and looked to have had some communication problems as well. Mike Urquhart and James Downs will take the victory in Formula Honda. And that win is close to a minute ahead of this battle for second. Total Oils will get it on the line from Ray Glass. It's going to be pretty close to the checkered flag. There's the finished boat. Total Oil will get second in Formula Honda ahead of Ray Glass, Mike Smith and Bobby Lloyd. Problems for Schick Hydro. Fairview lapped them, so in the last lap or so, Schick Hydro has struck some form of problem out there on the race course. Fairview looking for victory here at round number 1 of the championship. Doosan have also fallen off the pace. So it will be Fairview windows and doors. Warren Lewis and Chris Hanley taking out the first round of the Rayglass New Zealand Offshore Powerboat Championship here on Lake Taupo. And they've got about a 25-second advantage over Doosan, who struggled late in the race in the NZ1 Phantom. Sam Fillmore and Carrie Gleeson. Schick Hydro Racing will limp down to the line in 3rd, but they've definitely got some issues. A bigger rooster tail from the left-hand side of their 32-foot skater after such a strong start to the round here on Lake Taupo. Not too far behind them will be New Zealand Blokes.co.nz, Bob Smith and Flea Cullen, 4th overall in the win in Superboat Lights. and they'll take that win ahead of Red Steel, who'll be 5th overall and 2nd in class. Unfortunately, we've lost Barracuda Kayaks on the last lap. So a fantastic race and lots of action for race number 1 of the Ray Glass New Zealand Offshore Powerboat Championship. Fairview winning from Doosan with Chick Hydro in 3rd. New Zealand Blokes 4th overall, taking out Superboat Light. For the 60-mile classification, it's back to basics on debut in the class, taking the win from Konica Minolta and Espresso Engineers, followed by Gold Force 10, Thin Ice and Otaki Go. And in Formula Honda, Auckland District Collections 2 from Total Oil, Ray Glass, CRD and The Gambler.
We changed a bit of the setup of the boat in the off-season, and Chris did a great job on the wheel, but I was really struggling with the trimming and the throttling, just figuring out what was best with the new setup, and we just had to work pretty hard for the first few laps.
Some of the corners we did brilliantly, others we were just coming in far too hot, and really cocked a few things up. But not to take anything away from Fairview, they drove a brilliant race, they really did.
Were you surprised when Warren went by you?
No, not at all actually. I thought he was sort of playing there with us, and like that boat's very quick, and we're going to have to put our really thinking caps on to see what we can do to try and keep up with them.
We could have sat on our laurels last year, but we decided to pull the whole boat apart. We'd done some temporary repairs during the season, so we really focused on strength engineering on the boat. The boat was obviously going fast. We've done some minor changes which we've probably picked up a bit of speed, but it was really focused on reliability, and we've done a lot of testing as well.
If you get a good start on these boats, it's a good advantage because the other guys are in your wake and then they're battling each other. It's no different than car racing.
To finish this week, we are jumping on 2 wheels. It's round 1 of the 2007 National Motocross Champs from the hills of Timaru.
The New Zealand Motocross Champs headed south for round 1 at Pleasant Point in Timaru. It was a supercross style track that probably suited the locals and the past champions alike. A little bit of early morning rain kept the dust away, and we were set for what proved to be a pretty good day's racing. We'll show you 4 classes today, the 125s, the 250, the 500 and the women's.
As you can see, it's got heaps of jumps. It's fast. Hopefully it's going to suit the KX250. You could ride a KX250 2-stroke or a 4-stroke. So yeah, I've opted for the 2-stroke. I think it's going to suit this track and going to suit me out there. You've got guys like Shane King that doesn't usually do the small or lights class, riding a CR250. So yeah, I've never really raced against Shane before, so it's going to be a good battle with him and a lot of the other guys that have on 2-strokes and 4-strokes.
Just come off a major thumb surgery, so I was pretty limited to my preparation, but I used the time well, and I feel I'm well ahead of where I thought I'd be for the first round, so I'm feeling positive, and the weekend's going well so far, so I'm confident.
Ultimately, I'd like to be on the 4-stroke, but I've combined the class this year. It's not really ideal for me, but I've chosen the 2-stroke to get the starts basically and see what happens. But the first round is pretty important, but it's not everything. Just got to be consistent through the series really. Like last year I was consistent and I won the championship, so yeah, that's my goal, to be consistent and strong on all the rounds.
Doesn't matter if it's a nationals or a club day, it's always good to get a good start. You know, like especially here, this track's pretty high speed, lots of inside tight turns, which you know, you can lose a lot of time on if you don't get a good start. So, you know, my goal is like always to get out of that gate as fast as I can and be first in that first turn, just like the other 39 riders on the field, I suppose.
The track here at Timaru is good. I really like it. It's clay. It's had a bit of rain this morning, but no, I'm enjoying it. It's really fun. I'm riding the 4-stroke, and there's a few others that are riding the 4-stroke as well, just to go out and prove that we can run with the 2-strokes, I think.
you know, there's not much power in the little 125, so keep as much momentum as you can, try not to stop, start, and just really just full wide open the whole time. Consistency is the key, definitely. Like, you can win a race, no worries, but then you can come last easily, so you have brake problems or crash, so you've got to keep your head real good, and consistency is the key.
Brand new facility here at Pleasant Point. 20 plus jumps on the Supercross type circuit. Last minute preparations for the backward falling starting gate as we get set to show you race 2 from the 500cc class. And the ones to watch for are number 4 Cody Cooper and number 912 Daryl Hurley. But it looks like the best of the starts comes from Hurley on the 450 Suzuki. Going with him is Cooper. Watch 2 for number 10, and that is Justin McDonald. McDonald doing double duty here today, riding the 125 two-stroke as well as the big thumper, the big 450s. It is number 912 Daryl Hurley out in front on the Suzuki New Zealand RM450. Second place man Cody Cooper. Now both Cody and Daryl have recently come back from Budds Creek in Maryland from the Motocross of Nations, well, the aborted Motocross of Nations for New Zealand, because Daryl Hurley and Ben Townley getting hurt and not able to race, meaning New Zealand didn't get in the team's classifications at all. But that's all changed now. Hurley may be carrying a little bit of the concussion he suffered at Budds Creek, but out in front for the moment, chased hard by Cody Cooper. What a season for Cody Cooper. Great racing in Australia, and then really set the press alight in the United States of America. Raced the last 2 AMA Nationals and then, of course, the Motocross of Nations, and really impressed the people over there. 4 Cooper into the front now. Hurley in second place. Watch for number 1. Now, this is the Subway Yamaha sponsored Shane Boyd of Australia. His first time in the New Zealand Senior Motocross Championship. Coops, though, it is out in the front. The Castrol Red Riders, Honda sponsored man. Second place, it's the Suzuki of Daryl Hurley. Everyone told us that these two would be battling it out for the championship, and it certainly turned out this way. And there's some problems there for Hurley, and I don't know that our cameras caught it, but he's dropped back and he's now back in about 5th or 6th place. So the order at the moment is Cooper in the front, and then it would be Shane Boyd from Australia. There he is, bike number 1. Of course, at the end of the 4 rounds of the New Zealand Motocross Championship, we will be crowning new 250 and 500cc champions, because, of course, Daryl King is no longer riding. Injuries forcing him out. There is Ryan Doggy Marmot from Australia. He's currently sitting in about 5th or 6th place. This, though, is Shane Boyd. And as we said, first time in New Zealand in the New Zealand Motocross Championship. Daryl Hurley currently back in 5th place, but this man is calling the shots at the moment, Cody Cooper. Bike number 4. Really his season just carrying on from where it left off. He is in a major hot streak at the moment. Hurley, the other favourite in the championship, just down the field a little bit at the moment. He's got a bit of work to do if he wants to get maximum points. There's Boyd. And going with him, Peter Brock's on by the look of it there on another one of the Castrol Red Riders Honda machines. Justin McDonald in there, having a great battle with Ryan Doggy Marmot. That's Marmot on the KTM. Pro Lights champion last year in Australia. Battling with a man that came 7th in the 125 class last year on the Honda, and he's the local, and that is Justin McDonald. This guy, well, he can afford to cruise now because he's out in front all on his own. Heading down towards the checkered flag, Cody Cooper puts race 2 in the book in the 500cc class. He looks behind to see where his opposition is, and we can tell you that they are nowhere. Second place is Shane Boyd, and in 3rd place, Justin McDonald. 4th place was another Australian, and Ryan Marmot, and in 5th place, it was Daryl Hurley. Race 2 for the 250s. Blast off the line here at Pleasant Point, and watch for the whole shot coming from Michael Phillips by the look of it. That's him, number 105 on the 2-stroke Kawasaki. Right in behind him it was number 99. A couple of riders going down a high-speed get-off too through turn number 1 here at Pleasant Point. Meantime, back into the racing, and it is handlebar to handlebar at the moment. Kawasaki on Suzuki. 2-stroke on 4-stroke. Everyone's been waiting for this. A lot of the people have been saying the 2-strokes would be dominant. Well, I can tell you it's a 4-stroke out on the front at the moment. The Suzuki New Zealand RMZ 250 of Luke Burkhart from Masterton out on the front. Second place man, number 105, and that's Michael Phillips. Finished 5th this year in the Pro Lights in Australia. Raced at the ISDE, of course, last year for New Zealand. Third place for the moment there, just got a glimpse of number 2, and that's Shane King on the Castrol Honda. So the many-time New Zealand champion just back a little bit in the field, and it's 99, Luke Burkhardt, just like he did in Moto 1, out in the front. Finished second last year in the 500cc class, and then had a wretched time in Australia, injuries curtailing his racing season, but what it has enabled him to do is train like a demon. It's a light Luke Burkhardt that we see this year at the New Zealand Motocross Championship in association with DRD, Kiwi Span and Karcher. 99 in the front, that is Luke Burkhardt. This man in second. In fact, this man in third now, number 701. This is Brad Groombridge from Taupo. Grew up in the shadow of Ben Townley. There is a graphic example of some of the many, many jumps here at Pleasant Point. There is Phillips. This man, though, continues to control the action in the 250 class. 64 riders turned up for race number 1. They had to go through the qualifying. That was yesterday. So a 2-day weekend for the New Zealand Motocross Championships. Now this is number 811. This is Grant Vanderdrift from Rotorua on the Patterson O'Connor Kawasaki. As we try and spot some of these riders further down through the field. Just looking out there for Damien King. Bike number 1 he's riding. That's the Subway Yamaha. Plenty of airtime for the riders here. 979, this is Mason Wilkie on the Honda. 9th last year in the 125 class, stepping up. In fact, not stepping up, because you've got to remember that the 125 class this year is for 125 2-strokes. 250 class is a mixture of 4-strokes and 2-strokes, and it's a 4-stroke calling the shots, and he's on your screen at the moment. Number 99, Masterton's favourite son. This is Luke Burkhardt. Has raced in Europe, has raced in Australia. There's the man in second place at the moment, and this is number 105, Michael Phillips, and right in behind him, it's the Kawasaki twins. It's Brad Groombridge on the Darryl August Motorcycles Kawasaki, and he's on a 4-stroke. Phillips on the West Red Baron Motorcycles Kawasaki on a 2-stroke. The questions will be answered here in Timaru today. Is the 2-stroke better, or is the 4-stroke better? Luke Burkhardt would have you believe that the 4-stroke is better, because he is leading this field, as he did in race number 1, looking for the clean sweep. Tells me he's lost around about 10 to 14 kg, as fit as he's ever been. And he'll need all that fitness here. Lots of jumps. The Supercross style track at Pleasant Point. The win goes to number 99, Luke Burkhardt. In second place, it will be number 105, Michael Phillips. And in third place, another Kawasaki in the form of Brad Groombridge. 125 champion from last year, Damien King, is 4th. And his older brother, Shane, comes through in 5th.
That's it for Retro Motorsport this week. We'll see you next week.
We're back on board with the circuit here at Pyra. Here's the race leaders. There are all sorts of problems.
Oh, big carnage. Oh, straight to the barriers.